Hello, Alex Plus LEDs here, and today I'm showing you guys the Thomas LED Matrix V2 kit. So basically the only thing that's changed is the power board and the control board. So let me open this kit up and show you what it looks like. The kit comes with 4 matrix drivers, and it comes with a little packet here containing the voltage regulator, the power board, and the control board. So let's open this up. So here's the control board, and if you look at it, you'll notice a couple changes. First of which is that I switched the microcontroller from a big long chip to a small one like this, and that I added a 16 MHz crystal and 22 picofarad capacitors on the board. So when you get the board, it comes with the crystal and capacitors pre-installed. This should make these kits easier to assemble. They should be less buggy. Because every once in a while someone gets like a bad crystal and then that throws off the whole system and the chip doesn't work. So this should make the kit a little better to assemble. So that's the control board, and here is the power board. And the power board is pretty much the same, only I took out the space for the 3.3 volt logic converter and just replaced it with some resistors, and this board now does not require a logic converter for you to use Bluetooth. So yeah, because a couple months back, MD-Fly, the people that made the old converter, they switched their design, and then that messed everything up because the design wasn't 100% compatible, etc. So yeah, I just went ahead and redesigned the board a little bit so that the 3.3 volt logic converter isn't on there. So yeah, so that should be a little better too. And the voltage regulator is the same, and matrix driver boards are a little bit different, but not that much. On some of the traces on the PCBs, the trace has to go from one side to the other side, and those go through vias. So on the new batch of matrix driver boards, the vias are not exposed. So basically it just means that if you solder and if you're a little bit sloppy soldering, you're gonna have a higher chance of succeeding in making this kit work, because you won't be able to short a pad here to a trace that should be connected to something else. So yeah, so that's pretty much all the differences in terms of the design. Now I did change the code here, and I'll show you in the next segment what the changes are. So I added a couple more modes, and I made the kit a little bit more responsive. So you press the change mode button and it changes the mode a little bit faster than it did before. Also, if you hold down the change mode button, this will turn off the kit. So it'll put it in like a standby mode, and it'll light up this LED, and when you hold it, it'll go into standby mode and stay there until you press the change mode button again. Also, if you type a message via Bluetooth and you send it to your display, that message will be retained until you clear the stored settings. Also, if you change the mode to, I don't know, from mode 1 to mode 10, and you switch the battery pack off and then you switch it back on, it's going to resume right where that mode left off. So if you had it in mode 10, and you switch it off, you switch it back on, it should also be in mode 10. So how to reset the stored settings. So if you press and hold the resets and change mode buttons, and then let go of the reset button, this will reset the code to erase all the settings that had stored in it. So yeah, also if you hold the reset and change mode button, release the reset, hold the change mode button, and release that, there is a special matrix test function which will light up all the LEDs like this, and then it'll slowly light up the LEDs in rows. So enough talking, let me show you what it looks like. So here we have an LED matrix with the new control board and the new power board. I'm going to go ahead and switch it on. And the first thing you'll notice is a little boot up sequence, and then the display is going to start showing all the animations. So just as always, the change mode button changes the modes that you see on there, and now there are, I believe, 28 different modes, including demo mode that shows all the modes. So that's just toggling through the modes. A neat feature is that you could turn this display off and it'll retain the stored mode. So I'm going to go and flip it off and flip it back on. And ta-da, the save mode is displayed. And it's stored in memory, so if you power it off, power back on, you'll have the same mode in the memory. Another neat feature that I added is the ability to put the display into standby mode. So what you need to do is just press and hold the change mode button, and the LED will light up to let you know that the display is in standby mode. And to get out of standby mode, all you do is just press the change mode button, and the display returns back to normal mode. So we just toggle through all these animations. I also added the functionality that when you send a message to the display, it'll keep that message stored in memory. So for instance, you type your name in here, you power it off, power it back on, it'll be stored in there. So yeah, that's almost everything. Another feature added is a display test. So what you need to do is either switch off the display and hold the change mode button, and then switch the display back on, and the display will do these patterns to help you identify if any of the LEDs are connected poorly or if there are any problems with the connections between the LED matrices. In addition, so change mode, power on, that'll reset everything stored in memory, along with showing you this basically mode to test the display that all the LEDs work and then that they are wired correctly. Oops. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The construction of the main board is a little different. So the capacitors are a little moved around and the LED is a little moved around, but pretty much the same thing. And on the power board, the only change is the 3.3 volt logic converter is not here, and I moved the resistors from around here to here to make it a little bit easier to make and also a little more robust when you if you were to keep this in your pocket. So that's it. That's the whole that's everything that's changed about the display. I hope you find this video useful. Yeah. Cheers. Until next time. Bye.